The Street Fighter series is well known for visually striking characters, and there are few more striking than Edmund Honda from Street Fighter 2. Originally one of the World Warriors, Honda has appeared in every mainline Street Fighter game bar the original Street Fighter and Street Fighter 3. He was also absent from the Street Fighter EX series and Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Hi guys, and welcome to another DashFight video, where we are looking at the fighting styles within Street Fighter. I'm Jammers, and today we'll be looking at the fighting style employed by Honda, which is the traditional Japanese sport of sumo wrestling. Honda is the first sumo wrestler to ever appear in fighting games and was a pioneer for other characters who practice sumo. Sumo is a very old, very ancient sport in Japan that is deeply steeped in tradition and has delighted fans for ages. Bouts don't last very long, but they are indeed very memorable. Sumo has been featured in a lot of media, including anime, and I'd like to shout out Hinamaru Sumo, which is an excellent watch, and if you're an avid manga reader, you'll do well to pick it up. As always, with these types of videos, we'll look at the history, the techniques, and how the character of Honda fits with the fighting style. With all that said, let's do this. Sumo has a very long history, and it is believed that it was practiced by the gods. Sumo as a sport started out as a means to honor and entertain the gods. According to the Nihon Shoki, the first match between humans took place in the year 712 AD between Nomi no Sukune and Taima no Kuehaya. If you aren't familiar with the terms, don't worry, we've got you. First, let's talk about the Nihon Shoki. Nihon Shoki is sometimes called the Chronicles of Japan and is said to be the second oldest book on classical Japanese history. It is a compilation of folklore, wars, and myths within Japanese culture, and it is the source of what a lot of us know as Japanese mythology. The book was put together in the year 720 AD and has been a great source of knowledge since then. As for Nomi no Sukune, he is considered as a man who invented sumo and its first practitioner. Sumo continued to flourish in Japan through the Middle Ages, where it was a popular sport in the royal court, and it is reported that Oda Nobunaga, the great unifier of Japan, was an avid fan of the sport. In his time, he was known to hold huge sumo tournaments in his palace and would invite as many as 1,500 wrestlers to fight in a tournament. In that time, sumo was a form of combat training, and many samurai took part in it, sometimes for sport, other times to carry the favor of the daimyo. At this point, you might wonder how the samurai pulled it off, considering sumo wrestlers are, as we know them, are pretty hefty individuals. That's easy enough to clear up. You see, sumo wrestling is a sport that is for everyone and there are no weight classes in it. The practice of fattening up rikishi, which is what sumo wrestlers are called, was due to the lack of weight classes and the necessity of girth to push opponents out of the ring. In the Edo period, sumo lost some popularity due to its violence. Back then, there weren't many rules, and the early days of sumo saw death as a common occurrence to partakers. It was banned in the Edo, but was reinstated in 1684 when it was permitted to be held for charity events. By the Meiji era, Japan was a westernized nation, and sumo was considered a relic of the past. However, due to the efforts of Emperor Meiji, who was also known as Mutsuhito and ruled from 1867 to 1912, sumo regained its place as a symbol of the nation of Japan. In 1925, the Japan Sumo Association was established, and they have been the ones to regulate the sport till present day. As mentioned earlier, sumo is steeped in tradition, especially the Shinto religion practiced in Japan. Shinto is more of a set of customs and ethics rather than a real religion, and therefore, symbolism plays a huge role in Shinto. This started to come into sumo around the 17th century, and since then, the traditions around sumo have become an integral part of the sport. One of the most common rituals is the throwing of salt, which is seen in Honda's Street Fighter V intro. This is a practice that is believed to ward off evil spirits. The foot stomping is also supposed to scare demons. There are other purification rites observed in sumo, including the addition of kelp, cuttlefish, and chestnuts in the ring to aid prayers for safety. There are only 6 sumo tournaments every year, and this might seem small, but it is a huge improvement from 2, which was the number of tournaments that used to be held annually. A sumo match doesn't last long, and the objective is pretty straightforward. Get your opponent out of the ring, or get any part of their body apart from the soles of their feet to touch the ground. There is no punching or kicking allowed. However, contestants could trip or sweep their opponents off their feet. They also have divisions, with the highest level known as the Yokozuna. You might recognize that name from the past, as there was a popular WWF wrestler who went by that name. The Yokozuna are the very best of the best and are conferred with that title if they have ever been able to win 2 tournaments in a row. This is a lot harder than it sounds, evidenced by the fact that there have only ever been 73 Yokozuna in the history of the sport. The next notable division are the Makuuchi, and then we have the Juryo, who are on the lower rungs. Rikishi can be demoted if they lose matches and promoted for wins. Much like the master rank in Street Fighter 6, Yokozuna cannot be demoted. However, if they keep losing, they are expected to retire. Sumo is a noble sport which has a draining training regime to get proficient in it. Interestingly, due to its relatively short duration, the skills required are a little different from what you might be used to. For one, size isn't an important factor, as Rikishi's center of gravity could be the difference between a win and a defeat. Also, Sumo is all about the fastest way to victory, which is why all the techniques around Sumo are around making the winning play or move. These moves are known as Kimarite. It is generally accepted that there are about 82 techniques that can be used to win a sumo match. Before this, there were 48 recognized techniques, but the Sumo Association recognized that this did not work and more styles were introduced till we got the current number. Naturally, we would be unable to go through all the styles, but if you want to check them out, we'll leave a link in the description below. As for Honda, he is a fictional character, and due to the sizes of most Rikishi, many of Honda's moves are downright impossible to pull off in real life. This does not, however, mean that a lot of them aren't based on the real thing. For instance, his 100-hand slap and Teppo triple slap are both common techniques in Sumo, and while punching and kicking is not allowed, body slaps are tournament legal and Rikishi used them to weaken the opponent. Also, his move, Nekodamashi, is a real move. To do it, Honda claps his hands in front of the opponent's face. It is sometimes used in the middle of combos, and it is a popular move in Sumo. It distracts the opponent and enables the fighter to break their concentration and try out a match-winning move. Honda's level 1, Show of Force, closely resembles the Kimarite technique known as Oshidashi. For this move, the Rikishi simply shoves hard until the opponent is knocked out of the ring. Honda's level 3 is as dramatic as they come. He pushes the opponent, then grabs them, twirls them around to form a ring of fire, and then pushes them to the edge of the ring, lifts them, and then slams them down. This is similar to the Tsurudashi throw, in which the Rikishi lifts his opponent and carries them out of the ring. The final throw at the end of the move shares some similarities with Ipponzioi, a Kimarite where the Rikishi throws the opponent over his shoulder. Fun fact, Honda is not a Yokozuna. According to the Street Fighter website, this is because his constant traveling doesn't allow him enough time to properly compete and reach the highest rank. Sumo is an exciting sport, but if Honda's playstyle and moveset was limited to just the existing techniques, perhaps he wouldn't be as fun as a character as he is now. So, a lot of Honda's techniques are not sumo legal, and it has been speculated that this could be a reason why he isn't held in the highest regard within the sport. For instance, Kimberly's win quote against him in Street Fighter 6, where she says that she knows about sumo but has never seen it practiced this way before, is a nod to his unconventional fighting style. In some of the older games, Goken, Ryu and Ken's master, has also criticized his style. However, what Honda lacks in legality, he does make up for in personality and passion. His entire character is around the highly regarded sumo tradition, and his passion is always to expand the power of sumo around the world. Sumo has been embraced worldwide, evidenced by the growing number of sumo wrestlers from other countries, the most famous of which might be Akebono, who is from Hawaii, but has gone on to be one of the most respected sumo wrestlers to ever grace the ring. Honda's other great passion is food, and in the Street Fighter 6 World Tour mode, we find out that he recently opened Chanko House Edomon, his hybrid restaurant sumo arena. He has students under his wing, and you can bet that he will continue to evangelize the noble art of sumo till well into his old age. And that's it for today. Getting into the world of sumo was really interesting, and there is so much we would have loved to add, but there is only so much we can fit into these sorts of videos. If you have been enjoying this series, you can check out these other ones we have done as well. And if you don't find the style you are interested in, why not leave a comment down below suggesting what style you'd like us to check out next. I've been Jammers, hope you had fun, and I'll see you in the next one.